My name is Catherine, and while you might be accustomed to hearing about challenging mother-in-law experiences, I have a different kind of story to share, one involving my father-in-law, Walter. At the time of this incident, my now husband Jerry and I were engaged, having celebrated our engagement for 4 months. One day, Jerry came home with unexpected news. His father, Walter, had been evicted and needed a place to stay temporarily. He was low on funds and couldn't afford to rent a place on his own. "Why does he have to stay with us?" I wondered aloud. Jerry was just as perplexed, unsure of what to do. To give you a clearer picture, Jerry's parents had long been divorced due to his father's verbally abusive behavior and rigid patriarchal views. Walter often demeaned women, and after witnessing his behavior firsthand a couple of times, I understood why Jerry's mother had left. Walter had also been very controlling and dismissive of Jerry's emotions throughout his childhood, leading Jerry to reduce contact with him over the years. Despite Walter's belief that there was nothing wrong with his behavior, and his dismissal of therapy because men don't go to therapy, the relationship between father and son was strained. Their communication had increased suspiciously after Jerry and I got engaged, which made me uneasy about the idea of Walter moving in. I owned my house outright and didn't relish the thought of a domineering presence disrupting our lives. However, I wanted to support Jerry and see if there was a chance his father had changed. I agreed to let Walter stay with us temporarily, but made it clear to Jerry that this arrangement wasn't permanent. "Are you sure you're okay with this, Catherine?" Jerry asked, concerned about my comfort in my own home. He knew his father's nature all too well. Despite my reservations, I felt it was important to at least try and see if Walter could adjust. This decision, however, was not taken lightly, and we both understood the potential challenges ahead. Years had passed, and it seemed that Walter was making an effort to mend his relationship with Jerry. "Just give him a chance," Jerry suggested, hoping to make amends. "That way you can say you tried." Reluctantly, I agreed, and Jerry informed his father that he could stay with us for a few months, but with a strict caveat: any misbehavior would lead to his eviction. Walter was overjoyed at the opportunity and expressed his gratitude. However, Jerry's mother, who had previously experienced Walter's challenging behavior, called me personally to voice her support for our decision. Her call left me feeling apprehensive, but I was determined not to let Walter's presence intimidate me. Besides, my soon-to-be mother-in-law assured me she would be there to support me if any issues arose with Walter. I felt confident that we could handle whatever came our way. Unfortunately, I was about to be proven wrong. No sooner had Walter moved in than he began to critique the way I had decorated our home. He liked the house but despised the interior decor. "Who in the world decorated this place? I'm guessing it was you, Catherine." "No man would live in a house like this," he scoffed. "Yes, I decorated it," I responded calmly. "Jerry told me to go ahead and do what I liked since he doesn't have any strong preferences." Walter snorted dismissively. "Oh, please, I know you pressured him into this. Jerry has been acting differently. He shouldn't be manipulated by any woman, but that's going to change now that I'm here. I'm going to make sure you don't take advantage of him anymore." I was stunned by his accusation. "I'm not sure how you think I'm manipulating Jerry, Walter, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't speak to me like that." But Walter simply ignored my protests and continued as if he owned the place. When I was home, he demanded I cook for him and run errands as if I were his assistant, although I work from home and am not a homemaker. Eventually, Jerry noticed his father's disrespectful behavior towards me. "Dad, my wife is not your servant. You need to stop ordering her around. You're a grown man and perfectly capable of doing things on your own," Jerry confronted him. But Walter retorted, "Women are meant to take care of men. You've been giving your fiancé too much priority, Jerry, and you aren't even married yet." Jerry's stand against his father's outdated views marked a turning point in our household dynamics, highlighting the deep-seated issues that Walter brought into our home. Just 3 days into his stay, Walter had already caused enough discomfort to make his presence felt. "Catherine didn't complain to me, Dad. I can see how you've been ordering her around," Jerry confronted his father. "She's my fiancée, and she has every right to talk to me about anything that makes her uncomfortable." "What's gotten into you, Jerry?" Walter challenged. "You should let her know her place. Pampering and shielding her isn't going to solve anything. She'll end up controlling your life, and one day you'll wake up and realize you've been duped by a gold digger." Jerry's response was firm. "I'm only going to say this once, Dad. You will never speak about Catherine like that. She's not a gold digger, and you will not insult her again. This is not your house, and you don't get to dictate what happens here. You're a guest, and you'd better start acting like one." Walter was visibly taken aback by Jerry's defense, his face flushed with anger. I couldn't believe he expected me to cater to him as if I were a servant. Both Jerry and I began to question our decision to let him stay. We decided to give him a bit more time to adjust, hoping for improvement. The next few days were slightly better. Walter's demands lessened, though he still tried to meddle with the house decor, moving furniture, and attempting to take down my decorations. I avoided confronting him to prevent further arguments, but this turned out to be a mistake. About a week after Walter moved in, I returned from grocery shopping to find my bags packed and placed outside on the patio. Confused and alarmed, I rang the doorbell. Walter greeted me with a smug expression, making the situation even more bewildering. "What is this, Walter? Why are my belongings outside?" I demanded an explanation. "Oh yes, it was all me, Catherine," he boasted. "I had to make sure you wouldn't have any excuses to go inside when I tell you what I'm about to say." I was flabbergasted. "I'm really confused, Walter. You need to explain what's going on." With a cold tone, he declared, "I'm kicking you out of my son's house. You'll leave and find somewhere else to live." It took a moment for the reality of his words to sink in. The situation was bizarre and abrupt, leaving me in a state of shock. The audacity of Walter rummaging through my belongings and packing them up was unsettling, but what truly shook me was his attempt to evict me from my own house, calling it his son's home as if I had no claim to it. Everything was spiraling, and I confronted him in disbelief. "You can't be serious, Walter. What are you even talking about?" I demanded. "You heard me, Catherine. I'm taking charge of this house, and I won't allow a gold digger like you to stay here any longer," Walter declared, brimming with misplaced authority. "You're out of your mind, Walter. This is absurd. You can't just throw me out. Did you even discuss this with Jerry?" I asked, hoping to bring some sense into the conversation. "I can and I will, Catherine. I don't need my son's permission for anything. I'm his father, and he'll support my decisions," he retorted stubbornly. "But why? Why are you doing this? You're not making any sense. What's the point of kicking me out?" I pressed, trying to understand his irrational behavior. "I won't let my son hand over his house to you. He can be naive, especially around you. I've seen how you've manipulated him into doing household chores, typical women's work. I need to save my son by getting you out," Walter explained, his delusions clear. "Oh, really, Walter? Then please enlighten me. What exactly do you think my intentions are?" I challenged him. "I'm not naive, Catherine. I know you'll somehow convince Jerry to share his house with you. Women like you marry for money and then leave, taking everything. The moment you marry him, you'll make him give you the house. I won't let that happen," he stated confidently. "So, you plan to kick me out, and then what, Walter? How will that make any difference?" I questioned, trying to expose the flaws in his logic. "After I kick you out, I'll make my son sign over this house to me. He knows that only men should own houses. I'll take my time and make sure he signs it over before your wedding, so you'll never have a claim on this beautiful house." Walter revealed his scheme. I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of his plan. Walter had indeed thought this through, concocting what he believed was a foolproof strategy. He was utterly convinced that his son, who hardly had any affection left for him, would simply hand over the house just because he was a man. Walter was delusional to think he wielded such influence over Jerry. He was in for a rude awakening soon. As Walter laid out his delusional plan to claim ownership of the house, I saw the perfect moment to point out the flaws in his logic. "Walter, that sounds like a well-thought-out plan, but unfortunately it's not going to work at all. You've wasted a lot of time and energy on something that's just not feasible." "Oh, don't try to act smart with me, Catherine. I won't let you manipulate me or my son. I'll get through to him much faster than you can, and I'll make sure he hands over the house to me," Walter retorted with misplaced confidence. "Walter, I don't think he can just hand over the house to you. You seem to have some misconceptions about this place," I replied, trying to clarify the situation for him. "What the hell do you mean? Have you already convinced Jerry to make you a co-owner? I won't let you steal his house," he snapped, his voice filled with suspicion. "It would be impossible for me to steal this house, and I'm not sure why you keep calling it your son's house," I explained, growing frustrated with his accusations. "Walter, this house was never your son to begin with." "What? Don't you dare lie to me, woman. I know for a fact that it's not a rental. My son has said it's personal property, so I know this is his house," Walter insisted, his face red with anger. "Jerry didn't lie, Walter. This house is personal property, but it's not his. The house is actually mine. I am the sole owner," I said firmly, hoping to bring some reality into his deluded view. My soon-to-be father-in-law looked utterly shocked when I revealed the truth. It was as if he couldn't comprehend that I, a woman, could own a house like this. For a moment, he just stood there in disbelief. But then, to my surprise, he burst into laughter, dismissing my statement as a joke. "That's a good one, Catherine. You are a funny woman, but you are also delusional. This house is not yours. It belongs to my son, and as I said, I won't let him hand it over to you," Walter scoffed, still convinced of his misguided beliefs. "I'm not joking with you, Walter. If you just let me back inside, I could even show you the proof that this house belongs to me." "I acquired it shortly after Jerry proposed," I countered, trying to maintain my composure amidst his absurd allegations. "That's impossible. You're lying to get rid of me. A woman like you couldn't possibly own a house. You're bluffing. It won't work on me," Walter accused, his voice full of disdain. "Is that so? Do you think I'm bluffing? Why don't we call your son here and ask him? He will tell you the truth, right?" "Let's see what he has to say," I suggested, knowing that Jerry's confirmation would settle this once and for all. Walter, still confident in his mistaken beliefs, reluctantly agreed to call Jerry, not realizing that he was about to face a significant reality check. In his arrogance, Walter challenged me to call Jerry, confident in his belief that he was right. Without hesitation, I dialed Jerry, urgently explaining that he needed to come home right away. Concern etched his voice, and he arrived at the house quicker than I expected. As he stepped out of his car and walked toward us, his confusion was palpable upon seeing my belongings scattered in the front yard. "What's going on here?" "Catherine, why is your stuff outside?" Jerry asked, his brows furrowed in confusion and concern. "Well, your father thought it would be a good idea to kick me out today. He even packed my bags and set them out here so I wouldn't waste any time packing," I explained, the absurdity of the situation hanging heavily in the air. "Wait a minute, my dad did what?" Jerry's shock quickly turned into anger as he processed the scene before him. I glanced at Walter, who seemed uncomfortable under Jerry's piercing gaze. In his eagerness to prove me wrong, Walter had not considered that he was making such a drastic move without consulting Jerry. As Walter met his son's angry stare, he realized that this confrontation was not going to go as he had planned. Jerry, standing firm, awaited an explanation. Walter, trying to regain some control, blurted out, "Jerry, I promise I have a reason for this. I know I should have talked to you, but as the man of this house now, I did what I thought was right." "What are you talking about, Dad? You are not the man of the house. You're just a guest here, and you had no right to try and kick my fiancé out," Jerry countered, his voice stern and unwavering. "Come on, Jerry. You know well enough that I will always be the man of the house, especially since I'm here now. I'm your father, after all. Did you forget everything I taught you?" Walter tried to assert his dominance, clinging to his outdated views. "Oh, I do remember what you taught me, Dad. But those lessons are useless. They only serve to put you in control. You groomed me to accept whatever bad decisions you made for your benefit," Jerry retorted, his frustration evident. Walter, now visibly shocked by Jerry's assertive response, struggled to regain his composure. "I felt an immense pride in my fiancé. I didn't need to defend myself. Jerry was handling it superbly." He was furious with Walter for trying to oust me, and even more incensed when Walter attempted to assert his authority and claim the role of man of the house. Shaken, Walter finally said, "That's no way to talk to your father, Jerry. This is not what I taught you. I see that your fiancé has already started to turn you against me." Jerry's defense and the unfolding events left Walter grappling with the realization that his manipulative tactics were no longer effective and his control over Jerry was slipping away. Walter's reasoning for wanting me out was getting more absurd at the moment. "No one has taught me anything, Dad. I figured out a long time ago what a selfish and egotistical jerk you are. You have no right to throw my fiancé out. How can you think this is, okay? Why would you assume I'd support this?" Jerry confronted his father with a mix of disbelief and anger. "You need to listen to me, Jerry. This woman is poisoning you against me. I can see it happening right before my eyes. Eventually, she'll marry you, and then she'll make you hand over this precious house to her. You will lose everything, and I'm trying to prevent that." Walter argued desperately, convinced of his delusions. "Oh, really, Dad? You seem to have it all figured out, don't you? How Catherine will take over this house," Jerry retorted, his voice heavy with sarcasm. "So your solution is to kick Catherine out and then have me sign the house over to you to keep it safe? Even if Catherine tries to divorce me?" Jerry couldn't hide his incredulity at the audacity of his father's plan. Walter, believing his logic was sound, didn't grasp the absurdity of his claims. "Jerry, you're taking this the wrong way. Catherine will take this house from you. As a man, you need to be the sole owner of this place. I'm just looking out for your best interests," he insisted. "I don't need you meddling in my life, Dad. And why the hell did you automatically assume that I was the owner of the house? How is Catherine supposed to steal the house when it's already her property?" Jerry challenged, his frustration evident. I couldn't help but smirk as Jerry confirmed what I had told Walter earlier. For Walter, this revelation was a severe blow. All his manipulative plans were crumbling before him. He wasn't going to have his name on the house. His dreams were crushed, and he stood there shaken and bewildered. Walter looked at Jerry with a dumbstruck expression, almost willing him to say he was joking. But Jerry was far from joking. He was setting boundaries and correcting his father's misguided attempts to control and disrupt our lives. Walter's plan had not only failed but revealed his true intentions, leaving him isolated and exposed in the face of Jerry's unwavering support for me. In the chaos, I couldn't help but indulge in a little mental victory dance, delighting in the turn of events. I decided to rub it in a little with Walter. "There you have it, Walter. Your son has cleared it up for you. This house is mine, not his." "That's impossible! Jerry is lying to protect you. You're not capable of buying a house," Walter blustered, unable to accept the reality unfolding before him. Oh, shut up, Dad, for God's sake. Catherine's perfectly capable of buying a house on her own. She doesn't need to scheme and steal like you had planned. It looks like we should be throwing you out instead of Catherine, Jerry shot back, his voice thick with exasperation. Walter was now visibly rattled by the suggestion of being thrown out. Fear flickered across his face. After only 6 days with us, he had no real claim or rights to the property, and he knew it. He attempted to brush off the severity of the situation with a nervous laugh. Now, don't joke with your poor father. We don't need to do anything drastic. Oh, yes, we need to do something drastic, just like you did. What's the matter, Dad? Can't take the same treatment that you dish out? I challenged him, unwilling to let him off the hook so easily. Come on now, Jerry. This is just a simple misunderstanding. Your fiancée is very smart with money. I'm impressed with her. Walter tried to switch tactics, suddenly offering praise where he had previously sown insults. I don't think she's impressed with you, Dad. Especially since you didn't even apologize to her, Jerry pointed out, his tone still edged with frustration. Oh, right. I'm sorry for the misconception, Catherine. You can come right back in. This is your house, after all, Walter finally conceded, his voice strained as he attempted to make amends, driven by the realization that he had no place to go. I sensed his nervousness, which I must admit felt somewhat satisfying given the circumstances, but I wasn't about to let him get off that easily. His sudden change of heart seemed far too convenient. I hummed noncommittally and said, I don't know, Walter, you were right. I can go back into the house since I own it, but I don't think you can. What do you mean, Catherine? He asked, a hint of desperation creeping into his voice. The fact that you just tried to kick me out isn't sitting well with me. You also touched my stuff without my permission. I don't trust you around my house anymore, I replied firmly, my decision clear. Oh, come on, Catherine. It was a simple misunderstanding. Don't make it into a big deal. Let's just go back in and forget what happened. I already offered you an apology, am I right? Walter pleaded, trying to smooth things over. I don't think your apology makes a difference anymore, Dad. You crossed your limits and showed us exactly who you are, Jerry concluded, standing by my side, making it clear that Walter's actions had consequences he could no longer escape. I don't want you in the house either, but ultimately it's Catherine's decision, Jerry said, turning to me for the final verdict. Well, Walter, you are no longer welcome to stay in my house, I stated firmly. I will be respectful and allow you to pack your belongings, but I want you out today. You are not welcome here anymore. In fact, you were never welcome to return for any reason. Yes, I was evicting my soon-to-be father-in-law from my house. His actions were beyond the pale, and I was not in the mood to offer second chances. His son didn't want him around either, and that decision solidified my resolve. I was proud of Jerry for standing by me throughout this ordeal. However, Walter was not taking the situation well. He was visibly anxious and kept insisting we were making a big deal out of nothing. For a few hours, he tried to sway our decision, pleading for forgiveness and begging for another chance. It was somewhat satisfying to see him, a staunch patriarch seeking mercy from a woman, especially after the way he had treated me. He even tried to persuade Jerry to change his mind about kicking him out. Eventually, both Jerry and I grew tired of his attempts and threatened to call the police if he didn't leave voluntarily. That spurred him into action, and he began to pack his things. As Walter left with his belongings, he looked miserable and ashamed. As a final measure, we told him to never contact us again. Jerry went a step further and uninvited him from our wedding. Walter once again pleaded for a second chance as he was leaving, but there was no turning back. He ended up moving in with his sister, who, unlike him, does not tolerate nonsense. She came to our wedding and shared that she had put him in his place. Now Walter lives a humble life, working a low-paying job, and depending on a woman for support, a fitting twist of fate for someone who once thought so little of women's capabilities and independence.